I said, when I was interviewing Emily, I said we're going to have her partner, Paige, on. We have Paige on. She is the other half of Paige Kahkonen Communications, or KKC for short. We are in their brand new studio, KUVAHAUS. And I have Paige right next to me. Paige, my hand's a little sweaty.
Yeah, so is mine.
Okay. Very chill. First question.
Okay.
Same question I ask every guest.
Oh my God, okay.
Who is Paige Kahkonen?
Oh my God, I feel like this is the hardest one to start with. Okay. Who is Paige Kahkonen? That's, okay. I would say I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a wife. I'm a friend.
Nice.
I'm a lover. No, got that. Okay, I am an entrepreneur.
Yes.
I'm a wife. I'm a friend. I feel like I'm a creative at heart, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I'm always the person giving ideas, whether it's good ones or bad ones, you know. I'll give a lot, might not all be winners. I would describe myself as someone who's like super extroverted and like very outgoing. I feel like when I meet someone for the first time, it's like my goal is to make that person like my best friend. Like, that's kind of how I feel like I interact with people. Like, I just act as if we're already friends, you know, and just make them uncomfortable that way.
Make them uncomfortable?
No, make them comfortable, Imagine, I'm like, yeah, I
thought you were gonna
see how they play it out. But yeah, just like extroverted, super friendly, super creative, entrepreneurial.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
My next question is usually to describe yourself in 3 words, but you kind of did there.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to the next one.
Okay.
Or the other version of that, which is, if you took the closest people to you, so Wasim, maybe your parents, your brother, Emily, people that are really in your close circle, what do you think would be the 3 words that they would describe you as?
Extroverted. It's like outgoing. I think generous, people would describe me as. And I think driven.
Driven.
Yeah.
Driven, I think, is like, I have to go back and look, but I think driven's been, every single person has said the same thing.
Well, hey, you're interviewing entrepreneurs, so.
But that's what kind of the idea behind the question was, to go back and see if everyone uses the same one.
Yeah.
Driven. Let's start with a business question then and go off of driven. So I think you kind of hit it there. Like, everybody who usually starts a business is probably more driven than the majority of people.
Yeah.
Why or what kind of led you to start a business in the first place? Did you think that that was going to be your path when you were in school or even before school? And then follow up to that, what still keeps you in the game? Why do you still want to run a business? Why do you still, after what, it's been 3 years?
Yeah, 5 years. This is our 5th year.
It's your 5th year?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Emily, I swear you said 3 years in our thing.
4.5. 4.5. This is our 5th. This is our 5th, right? 5th year. Okay. How would you describe me?
That's my bad. My bad. Okay. So 5 years in, even better, what keeps you still wanting to run a business? Okay,
I'll start with your first question about why I wanted to. So I studied journalism. That's how I met Em. We were both in journalism, and I definitely knew by like year 2, by year 3 that like journalism was not the path for me. I liked the idea of being able to talk to people and going into situations that are like new every single day, or talking to people in different industries, not necessarily being like pigeonholed. But I knew in the climate that journalists are kind of born, it's like you really need to be chasing a beat, on top of the news. Like, I always wanted to be, if I was in journalism, like the city TV, like the girl that's like going to the fun local businesses and like exploring them for the day. So I knew that was not the path for me. But at the same time, I feel like my parents are entrepreneurs, they're real estate agents, so that kind of falls into the category. But I never really saw entrepreneurship as something that was service-based. Like, I feel like I always growing up thought, if you're gonna start a business, you need to have a product. And I was like, I'm no inventor, like I'm not gonna come up with a product. And I feel like it was really, this is kind of cheesy and he's gonna love it when I say this, but I feel like it was really Wasim that made me think like, oh, I could be an entrepreneur, I could be a business owner, because he was the first person who was around my age who I saw in that role, and I was like, man, like if you can do it, like I can do it. And he had a business, you know, he's great, but not saying it's easy, but I could just see like the amount of work that he put into it, and like doing a service-based business, and also doing a business from a perspective where he didn't really have experience doing it. Like I think they worked like 1 year where they stained fences, and then they're like, okay, we can do this ourselves. So kind of similar in like the trial by error. But he was the first person, like the first role model, I would say, that I could see successfully running a business. And he was a student at the time as well too, where I was like, okay, like I could do something like this, and shifting the mindset that it doesn't need to be product-based, that it could be a service-based business. So does that answer your question of kind of where, yeah.
Yeah. So then what keeps you going?
Okay.
5 years in.
What keeps me going?
If you want to break it up before that,
yeah,
that's an interesting point, because I actually felt the same way. I think a lot of people feel that way, where it's like you think you need to like come up with the next like tech company,
yeah,
or
like an app, and it's like I'm not going to come up with an app,
exactly.
yeah.
And that seems like, well, those businesses you need a lot of capital up front.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like a higher barrier to entry, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like this is literally free, basically.
It's your time. It's like the amount of time that you are willing to put in. And I think that's where it circles back to the driven point. It's like anyone could start a service-based business. Like I'm sure everyone is good at something, but it's not everyone is willing to go above and beyond and put their extra, like their free time into something that it takes to grow a business to be successful. So for sure, yeah, I totally agree.
Cool. Okay, so back to that second question. So now that you're 5 years in, what keeps you in the game? Like, why do you still want to run KKC, and why have you not been like, oh, you know what, it's not for me, or even through some of the hard times maybe?
Okay, I don't know if this is gonna sound bad, but I feel like pride is like the answer for me. It's like, so I used to work for the government before, and government, like at least my position I was in was like a nice, cushy, better salary than what I have now, and like 9 to 5, you close your laptop, you're done, right? Which obviously is like maybe ideal, but starting our business, like obviously there's the flexibility that comes along with it, which is great. There's also times where you can't be flexible and you're working on vacation and it sucks, and you're like, wow, didn't think about this part when I was starting the business. But I feel like after having done it for now in our 5th year, and seeing ourselves grow every single year, get better, I feel like we have more of a sense of who we are, what we do, what we offer, not saying yes to every single person and every single request that comes our way. And also going through the process of building our portfolio to the point where now we feel comfortable, like we can do this for you, or like pricing ourselves accordingly to do that. But I do think it comes down to the fact of like pride, where it's, this is my business, this is my baby, and I'm gonna make it work because I'm the one putting in the work, you know? And the reflection of success is gonna be based on, you know, there's other factors, but it's gonna be based on the amount of work that I put into it, and obviously that M puts into it. So I feel like to have our business fail would almost be a reflection of like poor work ethic, which I'm just not willing to do, you know?
Yeah, fair. I like that, pride.
I don't know, does that make sense?
It does definitely make sense. You said something in there though about kind of being able to pick and choose who you want to work with, not saying yes to every request.
Yeah.
In my journey, that's something that I don't want to say struggle with, but I think probably a lot of people probably go through that where they're like, okay, because you never want to say no to money, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But you do get to a point where you're like, it's not worth it, or whatever. That person's not in the budget for my work. So, kind of on that note, what's maybe something that you believed early on when you started, maybe a business philosophy or something when you started that you've completely abandoned now? And I'll give you an example of one for me if you want. So for me, on that note, was like, oh, you service everyone, whatever.
Yeah.
And that was like, because you always hear going into business, oh, you'll get to a point where you can kind of pick and choose.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would I do that? That's stupid. And then fast forward, I'm like, it was stupid for me to think that I could service everyone.
Yeah.
Right? Even though you want to and you can try your best to get there, it's just kind of impossible.
Yeah.
So that's an example.
I think it's very similar to what I would say, in the sense that, yeah, like you feel like you need to say yes to everyone, and you feel like you need to take on every single project because you have the belief that there's not a lot coming my way, so I need to take advantage of what does come. Where I feel like now, after having this experience in the business and working with a different variety of clients, like it's very easy for us now to see red flags and calls of clients that might not be a good fit for our agency. Not necessarily like in a personal way for them, but just in the sense of our own workflow. Like we aren't the business that can be with you every single day or every other day and be super flexible with your schedule. Like we take on a lot of clients. We have kind of not like strict, but packages that are set up to be able to do that, because that's how our business works. Like we deal with a lot of different people. We're very organized and we're able to do that because we have things kind of scheduled. So when we have a client or someone that's like, oh, I want you to be available for this or this or this, like in a call, I already know that's not going to happen. And I'm not willing to bend and be flexible for someone when I know there's another client that will be not like that at all, which is what I'd prefer. And I think going back to thinking that, you know, I need to say yes to this because this is all that's coming through. I feel like Em can attest to this as well too, but I feel like anytime we will walk away from a client or a client will go a different route, it's like almost every single time, like the next day or the next week, we get another client based off of a referral or someone who found us on Instagram. So it's like, at the end of the day with marketing specifically, it's like everyone needs help with marketing. This is relevant to every single business and there's plenty of clients out there. It's just a matter of getting in front of them. So I'm never concerned about, you know, I want to say yes to this person because, you know, I want to get this paycheck. Now I feel like we're more in an area where it's like, I want to say yes to the right person. And if not, I'll have the patience to wait it out until I find that, you know?
Yeah.
But again, like what you're saying is it's hard to do that up front, you know, and even pricing wise, now I'm just gonna go on a tangent, but even pricing wise, it's like we priced ourselves super, super low at the beginning because we're like, we have no experience, we've never done this before, we wanna build our portfolio. And it shot us in the foot as we tried to grow and tried to expand. But at the same time, it's like, how can you charge full price when you haven't done it before? And it's like, it's a weird balance of, you know, I try to say to people who are new and starting into it, like, price yourself accordingly and like value yourself for the work that, you know, you're doing, and it's going to be good work. But at the same time, you also do need to start somewhere. So it's like, there is no kind of happy medium there. It's like, I think that's just the struggle you have to go through is you need to price yourself low. You need to get the clients, and then you can hit a point where it's like, okay, now I have the portfolio and now I can be picky and choosy, and it's just about reaching that level.
Sure. So, I mean, you talked about a lot there, but
sorry.
Don't apologize. It's good. I was just the direction I want to go in is when you were talking about, you know, being on call with somebody, you identify right away, okay, this isn't going to be the person for us. And because we know there's somebody who will be, like, that fits our ideal client list or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. One thing that Emily always praises you for when just me and her are talking is your like assertiveness with clients, or your cutthroatness with clients.
Oh my God, thanks, Em.
So, but a lot of people would struggle with that. Even I find myself to be an assertive person, and I struggle with that. So it's like, and I think it's just something that maybe comes natural to you. Why do you think you're so good at that? And why do you think people struggle with it? Yeah,
man, that's a good question. Okay. I feel like part of this is confidence. It's like, but then again, it's not like you're lacking confidence, or it's not like Em's lacking confidence. I think it's about like confidence and like knowing the amount of respect that people need to have for you, like a baseline, right? Like if someone's rude to me in the call, I will not tolerate disrespect. And if Em tells me after, if she's in a call and she's like, this client said this to me, it's like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, you want to be like, get her back on the call, you know? Let me talk to her. But it's like, you have to have a baseline level of respect that you hold yourself to, and you can't let people cross that line because it's setting the tone for how the relationship will go, you know? So I feel like you have to have assertiveness, you have to have that confidence going into it, and you have to go into it saying to yourself, like, I am the expert, and that is what they're paying me to be. And having that initial, even in the consultation, like that assertiveness, it will set the tone for how the relationship will go. And it's like, I've been in the position before where I've been too like, not assertive, you know, or like I've already made the mistake of being too flexible, and someone feels like they can text me every single night or call me all the time or things like that. And it's like, it's not great for your personal life separation. And you have to have, you know, kind of those strict guidelines like in the consultation, because that's the first impression that someone will have and what people will hold you to for the rest of the relationship. Does that make sense? No, it's a really good answer. I think that's a huge one. If I were to pull a good point from that is like setting the expectation, if I were to label it, that's really good insight, because
The texting is a big one. A lot of people just go in and be like kind of a yes person.
Yeah.
Like a yes man or yes woman, whatever. And then you get stuck in a situation where you have to either create the boundary after the fact, which is always
harder to do,
more awkward always, right?
Yeah.
Because then it's like almost like breaking up versus like just setting expectations right from the jump. So that's a good point. So that's something that's obviously maybe comes more natural to you.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I still have clients text me every night or like call me unprompted, but at least I know like I don't need to respond, and I know the relationship won't be broken if I don't, you know?
Exactly, that's a good point too.
Yeah.
Then it's like you feel comfortable seeing the text come in and just being like, okay, I can respond to it. And they're not going to get upset.
Exactly, and I think that's like the perfect balance. It's like people can still feel like they can reach out to you, but they know not to expect a response outside of office hours, you know?
Good point. So that's something that comes more natural to you. What's something in business that maybe you struggled with or maybe are still struggling with?
Okay. This is a good question. I think two things, because I still am a yes man. So I think one is saying no or setting clear expectations about like scope. I think that's an issue where it's like
scope of like
of work, of the project, of what I'm providing, because I'm still a people pleaser at the end of the day.
You're basically saying like if somebody comes to you and goes and they don't understand necessarily what the pricing is and they just jump in and go, oh yeah, can you just like add a platform or something? And you're like, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
like that type of thing.
Yeah, and because sometimes it's like, or little graphic design. Like one thing that Em always gets mad at me for is underpricing little extra projects for our clients that are already on a package. So like for example, if we have a social client who's on like our pro package, they'll want little like graphic design pieces done, and then I'll be like, okay, like $50, and Em's like, dude, like 150 minimum, you know? And it's like for us, it's like, it's easy for us to do, and it's quick, you know, because we're so used to doing it and we have that skill set. And Emma's always reminding me, like, just because it's easy for us doesn't mean we should charge nothing, because it's still a skill set that we've acquired over X amount of years of experience, you know? So we shouldn't be undervaluing ourselves in that sense. And I don't know, I feel uncomfortable telling people like, because to me, it's like, I would never pay that. Like I'd go on Canva and I'd, you know, do that myself, but not everyone can do that.
That's because you know how to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would say that pricing is something that I struggle with. Which is funny because we kind of touched on that before, and I was like, beats firm, but you know.
But that's different. You're talking about somebody who's already a client.
Yeah, someone who's, because you just want to make them happy, you know.
Yeah. I think there's an argument for both sides, probably, that it does go a long way for the relationship.
But then it's like, once you do it once, people expect that to be the price, and then it's like, and then you're roped into doing like a 25-page booklet for like $200, and you're like, this should have been like $1,500, you know? God. And then I would say the other one is like work-life balance still. Like I feel like every business owner probably struggles with this, is you work your 9 to 5 and then you also work your 5 to 9. And I think that we've both gotten better at this, especially going full-time. Because as you know, like the first 3 years of our business, we were juggling a full-time job and then this on the side. So we kind of had the routine set of working on weekends and working on evenings and just making it work. And I feel like even though we have gone full-time, the to-do list never ends, you know, and it can be easy to get wrapped up in saying like, okay, like I'm just gonna do this tonight because I have time just to make my tomorrow easier. But it's like, you can always keep adding things to the to-do list. And I found it a struggle to be like, what needs to be done today versus like what I want to be done today. Like I am brutal for writing like a super insane to-do list that it's like, I know I'm never gonna get this done. And then at the end of the day, you're like, oh my God, like I didn't finish everything. It's like, well, no shit, you know, because like I was unrealistic with myself when I set this up in the morning. And then it bleeds into your personal life, you know, like the amount of times Wasim's been trying to talk to me and it's like 1 second, like I just need to post something. And then it's like 20 minutes later, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Sorry. Like I'm here for you now, you know?
And he's checked out now.
Yeah. Now he's like, screw it. Like I'm gone, you know? But I think like the work-life balance still, although it's been getting better, it's still, I think it's inevitable for business owners and entrepreneurs that it will bleed into your personal life.
But, I agree.
So
you are basically in your 5th year now. You have a studio. You guys are killing it.
Thank you so much.
What's maybe one moment? Let's try and keep it to one. It can be 2 if you have 2.
Okay.
But what is like one specific moment that you can remember where you were like, oh shit, like we're doing it. Like it really felt like you were like doing what you set out to do.
I feel like it was when the studio was set up and Em was coming in for the first time to see it. I feel like to me, that's like the first thing I think of when it's like we did this, you know? It's like we had always talked about having a studio. This was like something that we had talked about since like last year, right? Like we wanted to get a studio space. We've been saving up to buy something. It's kind of difficult. Like the places that you're looking at right now is like very commercial or like industrial kind of units, which isn't anything unique to Ottawa. Like every single studio besides this house is in like an industrial park or just looks like a big industrial studio with some backdrops and made to mock up like a home. And we always, like before we even had this house, we were always saying like it'd be sick to get a house and to do a different vibe in each room or have it set up so that it is a house that people can do lifestyle content in. And I feel like the way that this all came together was like very quick and kind of unexpected for, like we knew that we wanted it, but it was unexpected that it was going to be this house. And I feel like to go from calling Em on my honeymoon and being like, hey, I think you were next door. I was like, hey, Em, like,
I was in fact there. Yes.
Yeah, I gotta call you. I want to pitch you something. Like, save your questions for the end. Just
straight from Thailand.
Yeah, straight from Thailand. Me and Wasim were in the airport. Like, oh my god, this is what we can do with it. This is what we can do with it. Let's start getting furniture. But I feel like from going to telling her like, I think that we should use this for the space, and I think we can make money from this, to coming back from the honeymoon with a bunch of furniture sitting outside and being like, okay, like Wasim, like we gotta set this up. And Em was on vacation. I think you guys were away at the time. And so we had gotten most of it set up, except for all like the little details. And then having her, and obviously she was included, like she was FaceTimed in and, you know, looped in that way. But for me, it was like the first time she came through the house and like saw everything laid out. And like we had the backdrop set up, like we had like things in place. It was like, man, like this is happening and it looks good. Like it doesn't look like we half-assed it, you know, or it doesn't look like we DIY'd it. Like it looks professional. Yeah, I would say that is like the moment for me.
Cool. Very cool moment.
Yeah.
It's brick and mortar, I guess like brick and mortar.
Yeah.
It is like full different to like online, different beast.
Yeah.
Sure, as people say. And
it's nice. Like it's nice to have a place to go to. Like I would, and same with Em, like she obviously lives in a studio. It's like her bed is right beside her desk. Like I would work from my kitchen table. Like it's nice to come in somewhere like this where it is like bright and natural and light and, you know, super cute, and have a reason to, you know, look good when you work and like go somewhere. And like it feels more like a structured job than what we were kind of in like a limbo before, where it's like we're online unless we're meeting clients or going to a shoot. So it's been nice to also add structure, I think, in our own life.
Yeah, and probably easier for you guys to film your own content too.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, I have two directions from that, but the first one, what's it like? Big one that we talked about with Travis was like working with friends, because his whole company is like his friends basically.
Yeah.
Or at least like a lot of the people in the beginning.
Yeah.
So what's it like for you? I'll ask you a similar question to what I asked him. Everyone says, oh, you can't work with your friends, like never get into business with like a family member or friend or whatever it is. Why do you think, or what's it like for you, I guess, working with or having your business partner be a friend? And why do you think it works with you two?
Yeah. Bro, I think personally, I know that it differs, you know, obviously like you could have a friend who you're in business with and it doesn't work out, but I love being in business with Em. Like I feel like the tricky part of doing a business with a friend, I think, is finding someone who's going to match your energy and match the amount of effort that you are going to put into it, you know? And it's like, yeah, it's like you want it to be an equal footing, and you want to feel like you can fully trust that person to handle something, and you don't need to have a say in it. You don't need to have a part, because you know it would be executed as if I were to do it. And I feel like me and Em have that. Like from meeting each other at Carleton and doing journalism school together, which was like a rigorous program and, you know, kind of intense at times, I feel like I already knew that she had that same grind as me, and we would do a lot of group projects together anyways. So like we knew that we worked well together. But it's like, I honestly feel lucky. Like I feel lucky that we have been able to do this so seamlessly, and that there is someone in my life that like really steps up like the same way that I want to in this business. And I feel like we're just at equal footing, you know? Like I feel like we have the same vision, we have the same like long-term plan, we have the same work ethic, and yeah, like I feel bad for people who are in businesses where that's not the case, because I could see how that could cause a lot of friction. And I've seen that in like, you know, other areas of my life with people who work with their friends or work with their family. And yeah, I just honestly, I feel lucky. Like I feel lucky that Em and I have been able to do this together like so seamlessly.
Did you guys do anything like different when you started the business, as far as like that you would have maybe done or wouldn't have maybe done if it was like not a friend?
Yeah.
Did you kind of, going back to setting expectations, did you guys talk about that at all? Like, okay, we're two friends going into business, or was it just like you just kind of went? I
feel like when we started, we weren't really sure how far this was going to take us. Like I think that maybe when we started, we were thinking more of like a side hustle vibe. So it wasn't as, we never imagined that it would be what it is now. So we didn't really have a sit down conversation about like, okay, like how is this going to happen? I do think that one thing that made this really successful for us off the bat, which wasn't exactly the way that we did it for, I think, like the first year, but this is kind of where things got a lot easier for us, was we used to start by sharing clients. Like when we were first started, like we had 2 clients, right? And we had no idea what we were doing. We were really trying. So we had to be together. We're like, okay, let's figure this out together, because like we're really learning by trial and error here. So we would do a lot of our clients together, which I feel like made it hard because we're on still different schedules at that time. Like I was working for the government, she was working for CPAC, I think at the time, which was like way more of an intensive job than what mine was. So I feel like I had more time during the day to get work done, and then she would do a lot of her work in the evening. So I feel like having it not separated was difficult, because it was like there was different expectations for like when things would get done or who would do what. It got kind of muddy when you're just sharing a client. I feel like what really changed the game for us is when we had enough clients to be able to split it up, where I had my clients, she had hers. We would come together still for like a lot of content shoots, for brainstorming. If a problem came up or something came up that we wanted to run off of each other, like we would use each other for that. But in terms of like deliverables, we had separate roles, and that is how we continue now. We each have our own clients, and I think that's what makes it a seamless transition. Like I could see it being difficult if it's 2 people and we're like side by side. It's like there's too many like cooks in the kitchen, you know? And we're both kind of like type A people. Like we both want to be the boss and like in control. So I think having that be separated just works best for us. Nice.
Is that kind of some advice you give to if 2 friends are going?
And I would also say, like, I would say if 2 friends are going into business, like set expectations about what you want it to be and what you want it to look like, and define your roles from the get-go. Because I feel like that is where you'll have issues if one person feels like they're doing more than the other. I feel like that's where problems start with friends, where resentment will build, and then you're like, okay, I don't want to be in business with this person, you know?
Yeah, that's what Travis said, actually, similar advice. He said the reason it works with them is because they did like personality tests, I guess he was saying, and they're literally like the opposites of each other. So like where Travis is really good with like sales and all that or whatever. He's good at more on the operations and all that. And they don't want to do the other person's thing, right? So it's similar to what you said though, right? Where it's like define like what you want to do versus what they want to do. I think that's an important thing to talk about, because it would get like even myself, I would probably be frustrated, especially if you're controlling or you like to do a certain role, then somebody else kind of takes that over. You might be like,
dude, I'm doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even like thinking of even down to like content styles. It's like, imagine we were both sharing the same client and you're making some graphics and I'm making some, like we would naturally just have different styles. Even if we both knew the branding, like I would do things differently than you just because we're different people. So you don't have the same cohesion that like you need to do an account like that, right? And then one video would look totally different, or you'd have me being like, I think you should change this, or you'd be like, I think you should change this, and it's like,
it's just
respectfully like
pull towards your own styles.
Exactly.
That's a good point. What do you like to do?
Like in life?
Yeah, like what does Paige like to do?
Okay, outside of work, I like to go to the gym with my little personal trainer, #PG Fitness. I like to. What do I like to do? I like to read. I'm in my reading era right now.
You both are in your reading era.
Yeah, I feel like Em actually got me back into my reading era.
She kind of got me reading again too.
Yeah.
Good influence, Em.
Yeah, great job. She shared her iCloud password with me, and that was how we got in. I was like, yo, I'll bring the library card, you bring the iCloud password.
The library card.
Yeah, Sunnyside, right up the street. I like to be active, so like in the summer, I like to go on bike rides. In the winter, I like to ski. I really like to travel. That's one thing with this job, like I think we're both really blessed to be able to take advantage of like traveling a lot, especially these past couple years, and like taking like a long time to travel and still doing work. Yeah.
So traveling was my next question, but before that, I wanted to say, you talked a little bit about like work-life balance, but do you, when you go on these trips or when you're like being active or whatever, going on bike rides or whatever it is, are you able to kind of like shut off?
I think.
Or do you get frustrated? That's something I get frustrated with myself. Because like I'll go on a vacation, I'm like, this time I'm really gonna like just
unplug.
Yeah, just unwind or whatever. And you either do that and you come back. Maybe it's just a mindset shift I need to have, but it's like you come back and you're like, because you did shut off and you're like all stressed. You have like the Sunday anxiety times 10.
Yeah.
Or you don't fully shut off, and then I'm like frustrated with myself, like, oh, I just went on a whole trip and didn't. Which is also on the other side, the whole point of why I'm a business owner. So I can't travel.
I think it's like I don't think you really can shut off. Like I think that it's hard to fully separate. I feel like I've come to the realization that like I will just never go on a vacation where I'm not doing work in some capacity. Luckily for me, Wasim also grinds it out and we'll do work when we're on vacation. So it's not like you're waiting on one person, like, okay, like, come on, let's go. That I could see being super frustrating. That's why I'm happy. And same with you and Em, that like we're all entrepreneurs, so you get it to some extent, you know?
Yeah.
Before I was doing this business, I would always harp on Wasim, like, can we go? Like, pay more attention to me. And then it's like, now as a business owner, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, you know? But yeah, like I do the same. Like I go on vacation, I work. I went to my friend's wedding, destination wedding. I was poolside with my laptop like every single day, to the point where moms were coming up to me like, Paige, like, are you really working right now? And I'm like, that's why I'm able to be here. Like, like I'm going to, like, leave me alone. And it comes with the fact that it's like, I wouldn't be able to take 2 weeks off. Like, what job are you able to take? Like, I just took 5 weeks off. For my honeymoon, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's no job I would be able to do where they would let me take that off. And then other trips throughout the year, it's like that's just the give and take that you kind of have to agree to. And it is frustrating sometimes. I think the trick is book a longer vacation so you're not like, I only have 10 days, like every single day I gotta be at it. Like when you book a longer trip, you can have more flexibility with yourself by being like, okay, today's gonna be a chill work day, you know? And you don't have that guilt like, oh, I'm wasting my time. It's like, no, you can be poolside for one day, rip out work, and then just prep in advance, you know?
Yeah,
but
that's good advice.
Yeah.
It's good. Literally my next question was gonna be, what would you say to people then?
Yeah, prep in advance. Schedule your content.
There you go, schedule your content. Yeah, use content calendars.
Yeah.
So back to traveling, that was where the other direction I want to go in. You're pretty well traveled.
Yes.
What's your favorite destination?
Thailand. We literally just came back from Thailand.
You went?
Out of everywhere. Really? Yeah, nice. Yeah. Thailand is insane. It's one of those places where you could be for like 2 months and you would always have something to do. Like you could go to the beach, like you could go on a little monkey trail, you could go on a boat, you can go snorkeling, you can just chill by the pool. Like there's nightlife and stuff like that. Like it was a good mix of like everything that you need, where like whatever kind of vibe you are traveling, like if you're bougie or backpack traveler, like it really has everything for you. And that's where we were there the longest. Like we were in Thailand for 3 weeks. And it was like, I would go back to Thailand like as my next trip, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this answer might be the same, I might defer. In an ideal world, 10 years ahead, 20 years ahead, sold the business, you're raking in money, okay? You can go anywhere.
Okay.
Where would you live? Where's your ideal place to live?
Oh my God, somewhere freaking warm. I want to walk outside and see a palm tree at my front door. Okay. Like, I'm honestly ready for that lifestyle now. Like I was saying to Emma, I was like, we got to figure out how we can be snowbirds. Like, I love being in Ottawa for the summer. I love Ottawa. I'm not from Ottawa, so maybe that kind of helps, but love being in Ottawa in the summer. But winter, like, get me out of here.
Yeah,
like,
horrifying. Catch
me in Florida, you know, with the retirees. Like, that is where I want to be. I think, though, if I wasn't working and I could live anywhere, like, maybe Europe, because I have an EU passport, so I'm also a citizen, so I can actually like work there and live, and you know, it's easy. And I'm pretty sure that carries over to Wasim too, which you are also, right? You're an EU citizen? Yeah. Let's go, skip those lines.
Gotta tie the knot before it transfers over though.
Yeah. And it's coming your way eventually. But yeah, maybe Europe, because then you can like hop around to different places.
Yeah, I love Europe.
Yeah, me too.
So last question. 19-year-old Paige is coming to Ottawa from GTA, going to university. You have 30 seconds to give her the best piece of advice, or as many advice as you can in 30 seconds. What are you saying?
Oh my God, okay, I would say continue to grind it out. And I was always in a situation where like I was working a lot in university and a lot of people around me weren't. And that's for your own benefit. Like the more effort that you put in and anything that you do helps build your own character. So try as many experiences as possible. Not everything needs to be a paid opportunity. A lot of the people that I know and a lot of our network are based off of people that I did volunteer work through or met through kind of random ways. So put yourself in new experiences, continue to work, continue to grind it out. I don't know. What would I say to like encourage myself to keep doing it?
No, just any advice that you want to give. Maybe if you think of where you were at that age.
Yeah, maybe like don't take, this is going to be bad advice. I was going to say don't take school too seriously if that's not what you're going to go into, which is not what I was going to go into. Yeah. Because life will give you so much more experience. And you're going to crush it. So keep doing it.
There you go. Perfect.
Cool. Wow, that was good.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Oh my God, James, that was so fun.